Master Mage, Season 1, Episode 3. After tailing the zombies, the two master and apprentice heard some footsteps behind them. That was the patrol team. One of them shouted out whether they had seen someone passed by. Master Jackie turned back and caught the team under Zhang's lead was all in panic. Zhang came closer to Jackie and told him that they had seen two suspicious men during their patrol and needed their help to find out where they had headed. Zhang bore a very annoying personality to which no one in the two had an easy talk with him. And also, Master Jackie and Fang had met Zhang multiple times earlier, but they could not be comfortable talking with him, so the old man didn't want to take a long conversation with him. Master Jackie pointed out, and Zhang led his team to follow instantly. He yelled out not to let those men go easily. Jackie shook his head and looked after the patrol team. He knew that the team could not take down the two men no matter how many weapons they were bringing along. Fang also showed up his boar, but there was someone to handle that to him, so he and his master didn't have to tail them any longer. Fang thought that he had a busy day already. He could head home and have a tight sleep. But the happiness doesn't last long. In contrast, Master Jackie said something bad must have happened to Pond Village. Those zombies didn't just emerge out of nowhere. To Jackie, the villagers' safety was the most important thing for him. He took it as his responsibility, how he could head home in that situation at that moment. So he decided to follow the patrol team to back them up. Without a second thought, Jackie tailed the patrol team instantly. That was unfortunate for Master Jackie. He was a highly responsible man, but his apprentice was selfish. Fang was very fed up at that moment. He was reluctant to move and grumbled repeatedly. As the experiences, he had never spent any good time once he followed the troopers. This time, he was very determined not to follow the master after the troopers. Reading the scene, Master Jackie wanted to teach him a lesson without hesitation. He supposed that a member of the Mao Sun family would be kind-hearted and willing to help people around without thinking about their own benefit. He cool-hearted talked to Fang. He could stay home unless he had to self-train his kung fu. Took an hour of polishing horseshoes and copying 500 pages of his book at home. Fang was a lazy man. How he could accept his master's condition? Kung fu training was way too heavy for him. That was more a punishment than a condition for him, so he ran after his master in no time. He made up his mind that he could not sleep well, but at least he could have some things to gossip about later on. Shortly, they caught up the troopers. They didn't want to pull the string to let the troopers know their existence, just tailed them and watched. Suddenly, Master Jackie stopped by. Fang curiously wondered what happened and why he stopped. The old man spoke no words to him, just stared at the ground. He saw something. There was some blood scattering around. That must have been from the two zombies they had seen earlier. Those tints of blood were not easy to find out in the dark night. Just a carelessness might miss that trail of blood leading in a different direction from where the troopers were chasing after. Master Jackie gazed up, and as his guessing, the two zombies had headed to Hong's house. Not to waste any time, the two of them stepped after the trail of blood in the dark silent night. After a while, they could see that was true as what Master Jackie thought. The trail of blood led them to Hong Noble's house. After reaching the house, they saw no black blood anymore. To decoy the troopers, the zombies had broken into the noble's house. From there in the middle of the night, there would be not easy to find them out. Fang made a wild guess. Those zombies were supposed to rob the noble's properties. The two of them didn't want to make any guess. They quickly sneaked inside to check what the two zombies wanted to do in the house and tried to walk as carefully as they could not to make a sound. Unfortunately, everything was not the way they wanted. The noble's house was locked up carefully. Master Jackie had to sneak to the house from the top. Master Jackie was supposed to climb over the gate to get inside. Out of the blue, there was a desperate scream from the house. Full of nervousness in the face, Master Jackie had to take prompt action. He didn't want any innocent people to get hurt at any cost. By a jump, he got to the top of the gate already. He tried to focus on hearing what happened inside. From the under, Fang spoke up. Master Jackie was too caring for the noble's family well-being to recall his apprentice was still on the ground and struggling to climb up high to his place. He was asking his master for help. He was fed up and yelled at his apprentice, such a lazy and useless boy. Regardless of how frequently he talked to Fang to train his kung fu to increase his physical and mental abilities, but Fang didn't seem to listen to him. Just simply climbing to a wall and took him that difficult in time. He was grumbling to Fang while pulling the young man up to the wall. He was having a butterfly in his stomach and wanted to come inside to check what happened to the noble's family then as soon as possible. After settling there, the two of them gave their eyes inside and got surprised. The doors had been all opened out. On the ground, there were 2 dead bodies. The two of them rushed towards to check their situations. Right at the moment, Fang bowed his head down. A shiver sent down to his spine already, he terrified from what he had witnessed. The dead man's face had turned pale and eye-rolled already. He was likely to be bitten in the throat to death. At first glance at the dead bodies, Master Jackie assured that the 2 zombies had done evil things. Seeing the tints of blood on the ground, he guessed that the 2 zombies didn't leave there long. They must have been hidden somewhere inside the house and want for the chance to escape. He was irritated. Those zombies had hurt the innocent people in front of this nose. He got disappeared inside the house. Not stepping inside yet, but a stench had come to his nose. The old man got terrified. The whole family, from the noble to his ladies-in-wait, had been slaughtered without remorse. Hong and his wife had been killed in his room. The 2 zombies were cruel and not giving sympathy to anyone. Master Jackie had promised that he had to be careful to deal with and acquire those devils. He had to stop them before there was anyone might die. Master Jackie had a look around the room. Out of nowhere, the 2 of them emerged in front of him. The 2 zombies were wearing hats to cover their faces and made sure no one could identify who they were. At the moment they faced the old man, they had disclosed their identities to him. The old man could see their pale faces with white eyeballs, sharp, bloody teeth clearly. One of them was holding a bag which was full of pearls inside. After facing the 2 zombies, Fang shouted out surprisingly to give his master a compliment, how talented he was. They were really zombies, as his master's guess. Jackie gave a light sigh. At least he had seen who those zombies were, so that he could figure out how to fight them. Without hesitation, his determined eyes stared at them. He told Fang to take the magic strings and pennies from his bag out. Fang quickly took them out of the bag and handed them to the old man. Master Jackie was quickly about to use those items and hoped to acquire those zombies as soon as possible. Fang at that moment didn't want to delay his master's work any longer. The zombies saw people in the house, turned aggressive, and started to plunge into the 2 men in front of them. They wanted to kill them all, just like the others in the noble's house. Didn't aware of Master Jackie's abilities, they tried to grab him out, but in a blink of an eye, Master Jackie had tied the pennies to the 2 ends of the string. He rotated the string a few times in his hand while his eyes kept staring at the zombies. His eyes looked extremely cold towards the zombies. He examined their locations and kept rotating the magic string faster and faster. Master Jackie threw the string towards them. His strength was not what they could look down for. The old man quickly tied up their hands by the magic string with his perfect throw. Master Jackie tightened the string and tied them one more round. The magic string tied them more tightly, resulting in one of the zombies' hands being cut off. Fang stood behind his master and I witnessed his master's talent one more time. He clapped his hands and repeatedly praised his master. He thought he was a lucky guy who such a great master like Jackie had taught. The zombie screamed aloud painfully for his loss. His hand had been cut off and made him in a very difficult situation, unable to attack the old man. He had never thought of how powerful and useful the magic string was in a zombie's body. Looking at the zombie's hand fell to the ground. His black blood had poured out, and the larva in his hand had felt off as well. They scattered around, which was so horrible. Fang could not stand in front of those horror stuff. He was curious about how those zombies always got those stuff inside. Master Jackie explained to his little apprentice that those zombies could move even they were just dead bodies. Some people had used the worm's blood to feed them up. Worm's blood was well known in their magic field, which helped those zombies easily recover from any attacks. Even if they had shed to pieces, they could recover well later on. At that time, he had faced some difficulties in acquiring those zombies. Indeed, as the master just said, those zombies started to pick up their pieces of shred bodies on the ground. Their faces, which were scratched by the string earlier, had been connected and developed back to normal since the face got the most worm's blood in their bodies. The master was afraid that the magic string had no use on them. The master just stood there, watched their recovers. Finally, he understood the essence of the zombies. He realized that the magic string was not the only thing he could acquire. He quickly turned to his plan B. He asked Fang to give him his finger. Like a coward, Fang was very confused at that moment. He didn't know why his master asked him to give his finger. He was reluctant for a while. Knowing how urgent the situation was, he pointed his finger towards his master. Didn't wait for Fang to take his finger back. The master had bitten Fang's finger to blood. Later on, he used Fang's blood to cover the magic string. The two zombies didn't wait for him to prepare his magic trap. Right at the moment they had their hands back, their nails kept growing longer and sharper than before. They jumped towards the old man. Master Jackie quickly handed Fang another magic string. He was well aware that he could not win the fight by only him. Jackie and Fang rushed towards the zombies in 1-1 combat. The zombies showed their sharp teeth and rushed towards them. Master Jackie was a good chance for his lazy apprentice to practice his kung fu in a real fight. He knew well that his apprentice got potential. After that, he again threw the magic string towards the zombie's neck. He yelled out, "Fight!" and aggressively tried his best to pull the string. The magic string, which was covered by Fang's blood, worked on those zombies. Over time, the pull on the string got tighter and tighter. Shortly, he had cut off the zombie's head out of the neck. The old man looked happy to take down one of the zombies and realized his apprentice might still struggle with the other zombie. He quickly turned to back him up. He rushed towards his apprentice, but he was just overthinking. His apprentice had stood there, staring at him with a stupid smile. Jackie gave him a big smile. Fang had tied up tightly the zombie to the column in the middle of the house. Next, Fang ran towards his master, told him to watch, and wait for his game to begin. With his mischievousness, he quickly got back towards the zombie he just tied up and provoked the zombie. Fang smirked at the zombie and dared him to bite, but at that moment, the zombie was unable to move even an inch. He was filling up with anger but had to grind his teeth and hold. The more Fang provoked in front of the zombie, the more his anger rose up, struggled, resulted in the magic string got tighter on him. He screamed out painfully. Eventually, the string cut his body into pieces. From the flesh of the zombie, the worm's blood pouring out, which was very disgusting. The black blood on the ground was full of maggots there which were moving and trying to connect the pieces of the body back. The opened flesh is some of Fang's blood, so those larvae were no longer used. They struggled and became dense water, then they stopped moving. Fang was very proud of what he had done. He boasted to his master how he handled the zombie. The master just stood there and hearing Fang talking cool-bloodedly. But deep down, he believed that was the first achievement of his little apprentice. He just didn't want to show Fang what he was thinking and brought Fang arrogant. He knew very well that Fang would be lazy on his kung fu training later on if he gave Fang a little compliment. His face turned serious. He spoke up that they need to find the troopers to take those zombies' bodies out as soon as possible. Hearing his master, Fang rushed outside to find out the patrol team. Afterward, the old man told Zhang everything, from how they followed the blood's trace to the noble's house and saw the whole family had been murdered by the zombies who were trying to rob the properties. Jackie carefully told Zhang they needed to burn those zombies and the dead bodies of the noble's family out as soon as possible, or else they would turn to be zombies and spread out the disaster. Zhang had chased out the zombies but had no trace. At that moment, he had to clean up the mess from Jackie's combat, so he felt uncomfortable with that. No matter what, that was his duty. He was unable to say no. Annoy was visible on his face. Instead of being grateful for Jackie's assistance, he tried to chase Jackie away and told him that he would take the rest from then on so that Master Jackie didn't have to give damp care to his business. Zhang asked Master Jackie to leave the scene as soon as possible, which confused Fang. Zhang told them to leave, not to touch any of the crime scenes. Master Jackie understood him well what he planned to do. The whole of Hong's noble family had died. How much their acid had been taken by the zombies and left at the house, all in his decision now. Zhang must have been going to take advantage from that for sure. Fang was slippery, but he was also smart enough to understand what his master was thinking. He turned to Zhang and insulted him aloud. He got pissed off and tapped in his nose. How the heck that kind of people like Zhang were presenting for the town's justice? Fang felt that his finger was in pain. He recalled that his master had bitten him earlier. He curiously asked how the worm's blood was able to stop working once touching by his blood. Master Jackie laughed aloud. Worm blood had a yin element, while Fang's blood belonged to the yang element. Eventually, the magic string was magnified by his pure yang blood and worked on those zombies. At that moment, Fang thought he was a treasure already. He teased out of his master that the old man should treasure him. If there were no him earlier, Jackie would not have easily taken down those zombies. At that moment, he started feeling strange. Why his master wanted Fang's blood instead of himself? His master for sure had pure yang blood as well. Fang rubbed his head and spoke up to his master his concern instantly. That was the fourth question already. Jackie was not likely to be happy when his apprentice bombarded him with questions. His face changed already. He ignored the question and left the house, leaving the little apprentice trying to run after him in no time. Fang could not understand why his master got mad at him. He just ran after him afterward. After a while, as if he could read his master's mind, he started to speak up another topic to his master to break the silence. At that moment, he saw a sadness in his master's face. Even though the old man didn't get angry, he knew that he should stop talking. It turned out Jackie had seen an abnormal event in the sky that night. He saw a red light in the middle of the darkness already. He predicted that the red moon was telling that zombies were going to appear and bring bad luck to the town. The two of them were not likely to have any of peaceful day in their life when being at Pond Town. Fang was very fair-minded. He faced up to watch the moon, but he didn't know that was a sign of an upcoming disaster. he just thought that the moon was very beautiful. Seeing his innocent face in front of the red moon, Jackie thought how many years he had to wait for his apprentice to grow up to be a real man. He didn't want to say any words to his apprentice and stepped ahead. Fang stepped after him. He spoke up that they had a busy day already, and finally, they could head home for a good sleep. His master replied that if he didn't have well-trained kung fu later on, sometimes being a fool was guilty.